Hi viewers, I thought today that I would share with you some of where our veggies are coming from. I do have this little veggie patch. It is quite small, but I thought I would just give you some progress updates on it. I'll take some video today and I'll continue back for a few weeks to show you how things are going. Obviously, I've had these lettuce in for quite some time, maybe 8 weeks, and they are actually going to seed and need to be pulled out. But we have a duck, a pet duck, and I'm sort of pulling them out one at a time, giving them to her. So that's going to take a couple of weeks for me to pull them out and use them up. I'm planning on making this garden bed here, which we use old bathtubs, capsicum. So they're capsicum seedlings that I have put in there. And I do have a bunch down the end, down here, that I'll also transfer up. There she is, there's Miss Duck over there, if I can give you a little. Okay. Capsicum seedlings that I will transfer. Okay, my squash, button squash, just starting to come on. And I do have quite a nice crop of tomatoes, which you saw in the beginning, and are just starting to ripen. Here are my first two ripe ones. Actually, I was a little bit surprised when I came down and saw these. They weren't here probably 2 or 3 days ago when I checked. So we're seeing them together. I did plant one bush down here in the ground just in case for some reason the ones in the bathtub weren't successful, but they were, and this one also has a few on. I wanted to add in here that I'm really doing this video to show that anybody can have a little garden. If I can and I'm time poor, then anybody can. It's not overly well looked after. I don't have anything special or flash or professional, and these are the results that I am getting, and it's just a little bit of a hobby, a little bit of fun. I'm not saying this is the best way to do it or this is how you can do it or should do it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing and where we're getting some of our fruit and vegetable from. Initially with our garden beds or in the bathtubs, we just put equal amounts of sand, topsoil and cow manure. We do have access to manure, so we use that as it's free. It's worked quite well. Here is a ginger harvest that I did. This is from 2 years ago, the actual pot and the initial ginger. I haven't paid any attention to it, but I just noticed that the plant had died off, and that's usually the sign that ginger might be ready. So I just decided to dig in there and see what there was, and I got this quite nice knob out, and I replanted a little bit which had a root to see what will happen next year. Here are my button squash coming on now. After this initial success, you can see there some mildew coming onto the plant, and that did take over. I was advised to do an equal part of soap and water and spray the plants, which I did, but it wasn't enough to save them, and I ended up losing both plants, and I think we only got 3 meals of button squash from these 2 plants, and I was just at a loss as to what to do to save these plants, and maybe there was nothing I could do to save them. These are I don't think I've showed you before. A friend gave me 2 choco vines, and so I put them in just to see what they would do. Still haven't got a real plan with that garden bed, and here all the capsicum plants are in, and we just grew these from seeds. The capsicums that I get from my farm shop, my daughter just stuck the little seed grouping from inside the capsicum into the dirt, and they sprouted. Okay, my tomatoes. We've had a bird get to this one. Initially, after you see my first 2 ripe tomatoes, I might have got a few off, but then I lost a lot to blossom rot, and I Googled and talked to people, and I mixed calcium into the garden bed, because it turns out with that cow manure that made like an imbalance of nitrogen to calcium, so we needed more calcium, and that has completely fixed the problem. I haven't had any other beetles, grubs, or anything like that. This is the crop that I have been getting. I'm probably getting around this amount of tomatoes every day for a couple of weeks. Hi, and welcome to my last update. As you can see, the capsicum plants are getting quite big, and I have got a few large ones that I think might be only a few days away from picking. I've got quite a variety of sizes, from flowers to teeny tiny capsicums. So I'm pretty pleased. This is my first time growing capsicums. Oh, whoa. Look at this big guy. Can you see him? I'm not going to have too many plants left if he gets to work. Okay, back to the capsicums. So yeah, I'm really happy. I've never done capsicums before. I think they're going along okay. I did have to spray with a white oil spray when they were quite small, as there's a few aphids coming on one plant, but that seems to have done the trick. And so far I haven't seen too much else on them. These are my new tomato seedlings. I just picked up 5 in a punnet from Bunnings, as my first lot of tomatoes are almost finished growing, I guess. And then over here are a few replacement lettuce that I have purchased. Maybe it's getting too hot for them. And I did have a setback that something ate them almost down to the ground, and they're coming back. It could very well, now that I've seen that grasshopper, it could very well be him. And here are a couple of choco vines. They're not doing a great deal, but down there, just because I've been regularly watering them, I think something has come up there, which I think is a pumpkin. So we'll see how that goes. These are the tomatoes that you have been seeing right from the very beginning. We did have to put a shade cloth over them, as we are getting some days that are 35, 36 degrees. I think that they are nearing the end of their life cycle, but I'm just riding it out a little bit, as I'm probably still getting 4 to 6 tomatoes a day, and I've still got maybe 6 really good size ones still on. The other ones are quite small, but I'm giving them to the children for their school lunches and stuff. Here is a little pineapple that I have growing just from sticking the top of a pineapple in the ground. And this is my sole little orange tree. It's about 3 years old, and this is the first fruit that has appeared on. I think at this age and this size, it will be okay to leave these fruit on and see what happens if they mature. No, if the plant is younger, you're supposed to take them off. I think at this stage it will be okay, and see what happens. Yeah, I think shortly, probably a week or two, and those tomato plants will have to come out. Here are the shallots. I have been harvesting them and just cutting them off at a little bit above ground level, maybe a centimetre or so above ground level, using them, and they have been regrowing this whole time. Just zoom in and see if I can show you. Like I cut some off yesterday morning, a little bit over 24 hours, and you might just be able to see there how much that has grown in 24 hours. It is quite amazing how quickly they grow. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you got some enjoyment out of it. I did just want to show you another place where my family's food comes from, and it might give you an idea of what you can do with not very much special equipment whatsoever. If you could like and subscribe to my channel, that would be wonderful, as it does help, and I do upload each Tuesday. From my home to yours, thank you so much.